I'm actually very excited to see where we're gonna go here because I feel like I don't know. I feel like every time we've been in something, it's always been a situation where we're under the assumption MAOMAO is going to figure out what it is. And if it's a situation where we're going against somebody else, for whatever the reason would be, she's going to kind of outclass them in a way because she's so much smarter when it comes to this stuff. Like, this is her field. But then again, we are in a situation now where it's not necessarily like that, and we're kind of using her and having somebody that we've presented in a very smart way that like appears to kind of know the things that he's looking for and doing and what he's trying to like set up. And even people like Jinshi is kind of very worried and concerned, that it makes me interested how this is going to be handled. We had some stuff presented last time that could lead to possible connections between Laken and MAOMAO's mother in the past, and you know, some other sketchy things that could have gone on between there, and kind of even what's going on now. And he's presented in a way where I just don't know if I can get a read if he's like meant to be viewed as like villain wise for us, or if he's meant to be viewed other ways. I don't really know. So I'm interested, I think, to see just kind of how this starts shaping out. Specifically, I guess probably the arc that we're going to have involving him here, and what exactly his motives and reasons and feelings towards a whole bunch of things are, and her connection to him, and just a whole bunch of other things that I'm interested in. So I think that they've done a good job setting up this core through only a few episodes and very little kind of set up between him, as we've had kind of a lot of side things going on. So I'm very interested. If you like it, subscribe to me, not to make feel free to stick around for the discussion. Limited comments of this series. It is a Toho animation show. It will be blocked at some other point. Please check the link in the description for the reaction if it is no longer here, or if it's muted here and you'd like to watch it with audio, please check the link in the description as well. Let's get going though. Episode 16.
いつもなら有無を言わせず面倒ごとを持ってくるのに
What's so different now?
人士様にあるまじきセリフだな
Alright, what
何
is
で
it?
しょうか
実は俺の知り合いのそのまた知り合いの揉め事なんだが
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
弟子である息子たちに技術を継承しないまま死んだら
Yup.
しい
And you're being tasked with it.
その中にはよそでは一切伝えられていないものもあるという
つまり彫金細工師の秘伝が分かればいいということですね
Yep.
簡単に言ってのけるなそれに
I mean, it kind of is.
なんだか妙に
It's not gonna be simple to do, but
そうでしょうか
she probably thinks it's gonna take a really long time and she doesn't have to see him.
はそのうちの誰かが御用達になると言われている
But that ain't happened.
父親が残した遺言には形見分けの品が書かれていた長男には離れの作業小屋次男には細工の施された家具
Okay.
三男には金魚鉢
Yep.
そして一言皆昔のように茶会でもするといいと言い残した
Okay.
会
Yeah.
随分意味深な遺言ですね
Unless it's just something they used to always do.
それとも別の意味がある
Likely another meaning, but it'd be fun if it was just a tea
た
party.
ちもさっぱりらしい
金魚鉢となるとどう見ても下の子ほど損をしている気がする、どういう品なのでしょうか
そこまで詳しくは聞いていない
That's for you to investigate.
あれは確かバッセンと言ったか
The boy.
前もそうだったが、お前はお付きというか勝手に動くなよ。
わかりました
Sure, brother.
前もそうだったが必要最低限し
ああ、それは父のものです。妙なものを集める趣味がありまして。
へえ
I don't even know what the fuck it
あれ
is.
が作業小屋。
兄さんたち連れてきたよ。
おう。
Fucking boys.
兄さんた
A
ち
squad
という
assembled.
ことは案内役が末っ子ということか
Mm-hmm.
変わった家具の配置だな。おい。
確かに普通
Oh, just go
真ん中に置いたら
exploring.
邪魔だろうその下の中央の引き出しに鍵穴ここだけアクセントに違う金属が使われて
Mm.
動かないように固定されてる
おい、それは俺のもんだ。見るのはいいが、触るんじゃないぞ。
Alright.
確か次男に形見分けされたものは家具
So don't touch any of
そ
it.
れがこのタンスのことを指すならこの男が次男なのだろ
Very
う
possessive.
ならば 残る長身の男が
I would have assumed the other guy was the older one. The second son.
窓の位置も変わってるな。
The whole
西
room
洋
is
風で妙に長いこの後長い間何かが置か
the
れている。
fish bowl.
本当にわかるんですかね。親父の残したものに親父は秘伝の技術を教えずにあの世へ行っちまった。でもって俺に残したのはこの小屋だ。
俺にはこのタンスだね。
I love you the shack, but the things within it
僕にはこれです。
are not yours.
豪華なガラス製。金魚鉢は木製かせいぜい陶器製だと思っていた。それだと3人の形見分けの品はそれぞれに価値があると言えるだろう。
And they're all pieces of the puzzle.
としてもらっても鍵は一つしかないし、鍵穴に入りやしねえ。
鍵穴に入らない。
多分これが中央の引き出しの鍵なんだが、穴に入らねえ。
So it's not the one for the
上の
center.
3つの引き出しは全部同じ鍵で開くらしいけど、肝心の鍵はどこにもない。これじゃ形見をもらった意味がねえ。
親父は僕たち
Poor guy just got a
お前
fucking
はいいよ
fish
な。
bowl.
さっさと金に換えられるものをもらったんだから。
そうだぜ。そんなんでもしばらく食うには困らない金には
That's like such a trash way to look at it, dude. My god.
みんなで茶会をして何になるんだ。
Maybe he just wants you guys to fucking talk and get
どう
along.
したものか。兄二人と末っ子の関係は
うん
随分冷めているみたいだ。
But the dad didn't either. He left him a fucking fish bowl.
お客様の前でみっともないですよ。ごめ
Nice.
んなさいね。いつからこんな風になってしまったのか。
When they stopped getting
次男も
along.
ひねくれてしまって、
What did Fishbowl Boy do to them?
こんな調子だから主人も最後の最後まで心配し
So he left them a fucking riddle.
どうして座ったということは定位置が決まって
They
い
have
る
their
のだ。
assigned seats.
窓の
The
前を
dad
避け
must
て
be
い
the
る
one
た
in
だの
the.
習慣か。
Maybe that was
ちょう
his
ど
seat
その時間は
though.
窓から光が差しているし、もう少し光が伸びたらタンスに当たりそうだが、タンスに日焼けの跡は
It's highlighting that one specific drawer.
中に何か詰まってる。
Yeah, there's more fish bowls in there.
誰かに似ていると思ったら、こいつはガオシュに似ているのだな。
I thought she was connecting some crazy shit there. Well,
私は開かないんですよね。
that's because there's something stuck in it.
親父が細工しているうちに開かなくなっちまったらしい。
鍵は一つ。
これしかねえよ。
There better be a good reason for why he set all this shit up and made it so difficult. I'd be pissed just like them.
兄弟たちにそれぞれ渡された形見の品、小屋、タンス、金魚鉢。
I got
親には
nothing,
固定
dude.
されたタンス。タンスには開かない鍵。
I'm gonna use the brains, please save me.
あそこの棚に飾っていた
I'd
の
be
ではない。
pretty certain it was. Yes.
そうですけど、昔は金魚を入れてここに置いていたんです。ちょうどこの絵柄がこちらに向くように。
Oh, you align it? Oh shit. It beams through.
なんだこれ。
Is it gonna melt whatever's fucking in it?
触るな。すみません。目に入ると失明してしまいます。あと
Hmm.
邪魔なので離れてくだ。
Yep. Nice. Now the key should work.
熱い。それに妙な匂いがする。
おい、何の意味があるんだ。
では先ほどの鍵。
Yeah. So there's put something in for like a blockage, and then by using this and coming together and using all your pieces together, you'll be able to find the things that you need. That's cute.
どういうことだ。
もしかしてお父上は貧血や腹痛などを繰り返していませんでした。ここではハンダも使っているのでしょうか。
ええ、
Mhm.
使ってます。
どういうことだ。
私はただ皆で昔と同じように茶会をしろという遺言に型から抜いてもよろしいでしょうか。
おい、
まだ少し温かい。それに柔らかい。鍵穴に詰まっていた金属が熱で溶けて、
Yep.
その下の
Melted down and created it. That's dope. That's actually fucking cool as hell. And the one key becomes the three at that point. And you'll find the thing that we found inside. Okay. And this is something left behind for each of you, I'm
この
assuming.
青みがかった結晶は玄関先
Yeah,
に飾られ
the
てい
same
た
one
も
from
の
the
と同じ
inside.
みたいだ。
何がみんな仲良くだよ。結局親父の最後のいたずらに振り回されて終わりかよ。
やって
There's probably like a good reason for it, but I love it.
技は見て盗めとか職人気質の客人が昔言っ
Was
て
there
た
lead in the
な。
water?
それを真に受けて親父が取ってきた薬草を見よう見まねで煎じて中毒を本来個々で溶ける温度より低い温度で溶けるという。3つの塊のうち2つは鉛と錫、そしてもう1つの塊を合わせることで新しい金属ができるとすればどうだろう。しかも金魚鉢で集約した光の熱とはいえ刺して当たった時間は長くなかった。それだけ溶ける温度が低いということだ。
何が遺言だ。行くぞ。
Bro, settle the fuck down.
待ってよ兄さん。
The younger brother's the only good one here.
いたずらなんかじゃない。
Yeah, come on. Use your heads.
やっぱり親父は僕たち兄弟に仲良くしてほしくて遺言を残したんだ。
あ
What are you, fucking dumb?
一緒に俺たちと
It's been years. Yeah, no
笑
shit,
わせる
dude.
な。お前は
Yeah, why don't you like him? What is your
才
reasons?
能のあるお前は親父に
Oh, okay, so they resent him for that, but that's just not the case, and he's trying to show them that by bringing them all together here.
親父は
That's
兄
why I
さん
got the
たちのことを
fishbowl, bro.
信頼していた。いつも僕に言ってたんだ。ちゃん兄さんはいつも冷静で細かな作業も正確にこなす。ミスがないから何だって任せられるって。 ツー兄さんは人の心をつかむのがうまい。誰とでも打ち解けられるのは。
Look at MAOMAO, bringing families together. It's so inspirational.
親父は僕たち兄弟のことを同じように見ていた。
Yeah, that's what all parents say. But he did care for you.
僕はそう思う。
失礼。
あ、
I was really hoping they were just like, what are you, fucking dumb?
父親。まあ、私には関係ないことだ。
Yeah, they gotta work this out on
あり
their
がとうござい
own.
ました。
You did what you
だ
could.
けど、何か体調が悪いようであれば、訪ねてみてください。
はい。
I'm still uncertain of like the not feeling good, if it's a result of like some sort of fumes with the metals, or if it's like some sort of like poisoning within like, you know, the waters and stuff like that they had. I don't know.
なかなか面白いことになったよ。やはりあの三兄弟、一番できるのは末の息子だったようです。
He was also the only one trying.
で、宮廷に出す細工を扱うと言われています。 長男と次男は今回の件で職人から足を洗うことにしたそうです。長男は売り上げの管理、次男は販路の開拓。それぞれ別の方面から家業を支える。
But at the same time, all together. And I like how we keep the fishbowl and everything up there too.
落ち着いたということです
Yeah,
な。
they all found their place, but they work together.
ある金具でしたが、最後にあの細工を使うと映えるでしょうな。
そうですね。いやらしい男だ。本来私の立場に細具など関係ないと分かっている。
兄弟など関係ない。才能がある
Yeah.
なら目をかけてやるべきだろうとね。
Some don't like that though.
一理ある。ラカンはうさんくさい男だが、人の才能を見抜く目は確かだ。
And that's why he's trying to bring light to MAOMAO here.
現在の地位に上り詰めたと言ってもいい。
Yep.
ところで、前の話の続きを聞きたいのですが。
前の話と言い
When
ま
you
すと
told the last episode,
以前聞いた妓女の話ですよ。
drop some crazy shit.
を下げる方法ですか。
You gotta get them sick. Don't do that. Don't
そ
tell
う
me
いう
that.
ことは、その世界を知る者に聞いた方が早い。いやはや、もう時間ですね。では、また明日。
化粧に詳しいか？
A little bit.
まあ、一通りは。
ならば、 俺に化粧をしてくれないか？
For what reason?
はい。
Detective MAOMAO on the case here, and it does a fucking incredible job figuring out everything that's need to be found out, and solving this and bringing a family together. You know, look at her, dude. She's nobody else can do it like her, right? I will say, where I was left last episode questioning like 80% of it, like the relevance almost that I felt like it had to the overall story, and it almost felt like we were just kind of putting in something else that's not like as important to the overall plot, maybe, and maybe it is in background at that point. But another episode that I feel doesn't necessarily drive us too far forward outside of the lock-in bits, but like it just was a lot better and a lot more well constructed than the whole, you know, fish incident and stuff that we had. I was much more intrigued and interested throughout the entirety of it as a result. And I thought that it was like a nice conclusion. It was a nice, it's one of the most interesting like overall mysteries I would say that we've had so far, due to the fact that MAOMAO was basically being the detective the entire time, but also adding a lot of like scientific like twists into it, and actually like adding more of like a mystery element of the dad leaving things specifically behind in these ways, and like plotting for all this stuff to be kind of left and found and uncovered and stuff. I don't know, just the overall progression of it made me a lot more intrigued as the way that it was kind of going along. I don't really have anything else I want to like grab onto and say that I feel like I haven't said the past like episode or two episodes, specifically about Locken and about his, like the way that he's going to kind of connect his way into the story, and the way that we're going to continuously move forward with him, as later on when we bring up to ask him to continue his story and everything from the last episode, he doesn't really want to go ahead and do that, right? He kind of plays like he doesn't really have much more to add to it, telling us that we actually have to just, you know, ask somebody who's, you know, knows how all that stuff works, right? He doesn't want to be the one involved in it, which makes me interested, I guess, to see why Jinshi's playing the role that it seems like he's going to be playing at the end. Is he taking on the role of, I am going to basically become one to understand the idea of how much value and stuff is lost? Is it something with the makeup thing that's just left to be like funny cliffhanger thing that's not actually, you know, even relevant to that? I don't know. There's a bunch of things I think that we could, I guess, speculate on that I think make it funny. And man, I just hope that MAOMAO just kind of like makes him look like a clown or something. It fucks around with him. I think that would be fun. Unless they're not just making him look different, like appearance wise or anything, and they're not going like too crazy, but they're trying to do something to like pull some sort of like stunt or trick or something and kind of deceive somebody or do something. I don't know. But I guess that could always be some sort of possibility. Like I said, don't really have too much I want to kind of go into and say, so we're just going to go through the episode and talk about some little bits and the way that things are progressed. I like the setup overall. Let's leave 3 little things. Let's not leave much. I'll leave you a tiny bit of information. You believe you're supposed to be getting this stuff, and you're going to be entirely let down when I don't leave anything in your name or to you, with leaving one big hint of the tea party and like, you know, coming together like you used to and everything. So if you really want to figure this thing out and find the things that I left you, and find why the things that, you know, you think should normally work, like the key, and, you know, figure out the purpose and the use for these things that you were specifically left as this guy's children, you would have to come together, and you would have to be brought all back together, which is something that clearly they've had some sort of rift and not been together for years and years of their life, likely, which ultimately is going to lead us to what ends up happening by the back end of this. I like the room being so like messed up, like just the way that everything's organized. It's so different. This thing being specifically bolted down here. I wonder if all of this stuff within the workshop was placed specifically like this, or as he was kind of realizing that he was getting to a point that he was getting ill, that he started rearranging and doing these things, so he could specifically have all this set up for whenever this moment were to actually come. I think that would be likely due to the fact that we do bolt that thing to the ground, that chest itself to the ground, so that we can't actually rearrange and move things and take them out, or like do anything really to them that can kind of ruin this plan and this setup that he ended up having. I like the younger brother here. I mean, the other brothers, there's literally nothing else to really like or enjoy about them. But the younger brother, he's pretty great. He clearly cared lots for his dad and, you know, the business and everything that he kind of went into and taking after him and learning like his craft and all, and just kind of wants his brothers to understand that his dad did like see positives and good things in them and actually cared greatly for them, despite them not really feeling that way. Understandable the resentment that specifically comes from the older siblings at this point too, because clearly it seems like the dad took like a strong liking to the youngest son, probably because he took a strong, you know, interest in the things in the business and stuff that they kind of had. I like the mom coming in here, or who I would believe would be the mom in the situation, and just kind of yelling at them and, you know, telling them to sit down and get ready. Also just the note of MAOMAO being like they all have specific spots that they go to, so it makes me think that a lot of the room was probably rearranged already like this, and maybe he moved the chest and stuff in like specific spots just so that this was actually, you know, capable of occurring. I don't know, but using little bits of like science and stuff to be able to determine that there's something kind of blocking it and how we can go in and kind of melt this thing, and then talking about the boiling points of all these different things. I really like that, and I think that that's a nice little touch on just the entire mystery itself. MAOMAO in this moment, like when you think that she's like figuring out something huge and just noticing that Buddy kind of just has a resemblance. It's insane to me, and I think it's a great moment to break up the tension that was kind of built up throughout the entirety of this, and then leads us into like another moment of her kind of putting it all together, where she basically directs them. For anime purpose, I like the idea that she, you know, directed them and made them all kind of come together, and then everything works out by the back end. I think ideally in a situation like this, she just leaves them enough hints to the point that they come together and figure it all out on their own. But I guess that necessarily wasn't the big problem. The thing that they needed to come together on their own is finding their own place in life and like figuring out how that they can all kind of contribute and help each other afterwards. So I guess it kind of works both ways. We end up melting it, and then we end up finding out that we're able to melt something into creating a new key and molding one, which ends up opening all three of our top chests, which we end up seeing gets left behind with, I think it's lead. I don't remember the other stuff that they talk about, but lead and then two other things basically that they're able to find within them. Tin's the other one. There we go. And they're all able to get stuff out of this, and then not understanding or really seeing a purpose in this, and thinking that he didn't care for them or love them and just left some bullshit behind and, you know, put them up to like some sort of prank, and which just isn't the case. And it's great. That's why the little brother is great in the situation, because he's able to bring everybody together and figure that out and be like, y'all are fucking stupid for this and we need to have you all kind of come together, which I completely love to see. They end up working all together and then starting within this business basically of the younger brother kind of taking after and doing essentially what the father was doing, but now the other two brothers are creating some other area that they work really well in, whether it's kind of getting customers or handling more like business elements of it, and then working all together as some sort of thing, which is I think all that the father really wanted to see at the end of the day, and all he really wanted to have kind of uncovered. It appears Locken in the situation was well aware that that was going to be the case, and that's kind of what was intended by the father, I'd assume, and he's pretty much well aware of this. We do talk about this in creating like the metal piece of like the ritual and stuff like that, and I actually don't like understand that at all, so I don't have anything that I can even speculate and say on. All I know is Jinshi talks about how it's not something that like concerns him, and he kind of knows that, so why he brought that up and everything, and I don't know. I'll have to go back, I guess, and rewatch that and maybe think about it, but I don't really think that I'll be able to get too much out of that. He understandably so is very upset and annoyed by him, just because of the way that he kind of carries himself and like presents himself, and just the things that he says and the way he says them and everything is unreal. But he makes things really interesting so far, so we definitely do like that. And then we get left off with our final scene here, and it appears a possible cross-dress arc begins, which I would absolutely love. I feel like that's not going to be the case, but I would love it, and I think it could just be really funny and fun for us to go through with, because Jinshi already so much resembles his mom that it would just make plenty of sense, right? Very intrigued to see kind of how we move forward, and I kind of want to get like a little bit more plot centric now going forward, I think would be my desire. Not saying that like we've been completely off track, but it's been more of like, let's do these odd jobs and these things that are kind of build up a little bit more of the environment, and specifically like Locken in his situation and the way that he feels, and the way that he's like trying to present himself or like view things and kind of see things through his eyes a little bit more, so you can understand why he's taking a liking to MAOMAO or like these other people, and how he's kind of got his status and be somebody that you at least can kind of watch out for because of how smart and capable he really is at really piecing all these things and everything together. So going forward, he might be important. I think those are like central things of what we're kind kind of doing, but it really hasn't been necessarily the biggest focus yet. And I really want to have something that like feels like he's really has his fingers like all over it going forward, whether it is a meeting with MAOMAO or whether it is like him setting something up or doing something else to go forward. I don't know, but I'm really hoping we start pushing in a direction like that. I think that would be really necessary, I think, to drive us forward and kind of close out the core, even though we still have like 8 episodes or something to go, I'd assume. But I think that would be a good thing for us to kind of narratively drive forward and start latching onto now that we've had like 2 or 3 episodes in a row that feel a little bit disconnected from that. While this one was definitely more focused and definitely, I think, more essential because it definitely focused on the things that he discussed last time and, you know, wrote him in a little bit more. I think like having him actually like center stage as opposed to just background while MAOMAO figures out things and then neither of them really have a connection or anything with each other is where I wanna start shifting towards like that happening as opposed to what we've really had. So excited to see hopefully something like that comes, or hopefully just something way better than what I would even expect. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like it, all like and subscribe to me on something. Feel free to check out the videos and channel if it comes with this episode or series. I'll be back for 17 next week. Have a good one. Peace.